We made it. We made it. Week 1, right around the corner. 2 days, officially 1 day from now, we will have NFL football action for real. And if you can tell by the excitement and the echo in my voice, it's because I'm getting ready to hit the road and my house is empty. Absolutely nothing here besides what I'm taking with me. So, yeah, bear with the echo for a little bit, but it's a sign for things to come because we hit the road on Friday. Get ready to go to Denver for the season opening game with the Raiders. We're going to be streaming Thursday night football, just regular. I wanted the first game of the season to be something that we, do together with the podcast as a tradition. So I think that one should always be streamed. So we're going to stream Chiefs and Lions. It's going to be a great time. And then we head for Jacksonville, and we'll pick it up when we get there because there's a lot of moving parts that have to happen between now and then. Just setting this podcast up when we're outside of the Broncos Stadium will be a huge success. And that is what is about four days away from right now. So it's been a really crazy, busy couple days. We've had moving companies in here working full days. And then, I have all my side things I got to do after that. So it's been really hard to bring these podcasts to you guys at a normal time. So sorry about that. But I want to make sure that we get a podcast out. Even if it has to come out at 12:26 because Travis KELCE got hurt today. And even as a Bronco fan, because there are toxic fans out there, but there's not even a part of me that's like, oh yeah, I never want anyone to be injured. And Travis KELCE's on trajectory to be the best tight end in NFL history. Right now, he's the number 2 tight end in Chiefs history in like receiving yards, touchdowns, catches, all behind Anthony Gonzalez, which I expect him to pass. But he stayed on the field for a decade straight, hasn't had any injuries. So his ability to stay healthy for so long has been pretty admirable, and maybe even something that, Chiefs Kingdom or your typical NFL fantasy fan, something that has been taken for granted. I mean, when's the last time you thought, oh, can Travis KELCE stay healthy? Okay. Now, let's not jump overboard. He hyperextended his knee. His status for Thursday's game has been listed. I've seen it 2 ways. I've seen in doubt by Ian Rappaport, and I've seen uncertain from Adam Schefter. And in doubt and uncertain are 2 completely different things, right? So I do think if this injury wasn't serious enough, then it wouldn't have been brought up. Like, I don't think Andy Reid by any means would have brought something like this up if it was something that he may be able to play in. And unless this is strategic, like Andy Reid went up to Travis and was like, hey, I want you to go down today in practice. We're going to say you hyperextended your knee, and then they're going to have to start game planning different, and then we're going to surprise play you. Look, maybe this is too much conspiracies with Kyle, but if it's not that crazy conspiracy, then I don't think Travis KELCE is going to play. I just don't see it. Okay? So this is going to be a really interesting game because, as you guys know, I picked the Lions to play a very, very close game. Okay? I thought, man, this is going to be a closer game than maybe some people think. Can you keep it down? Sorry, we still are doing a lot of moving. So The Chiefs, though, they're going to be without a couple people, as you guys know. They're going to be without Travis KELCE, most likely. And right now, I don't know. I wanted to confirm this before I say anything, because Chris Jones, from what I heard, is potentially looking at getting traded to Dallas. Now, I don't know if that's true, but if something like that were to happen, oh my God, Dallas is scary defensively. I mean, really, like that is. I think that would be the move. That would make Dallas the best defense in the NFL. Okay, but when you look at the Chiefs, you got Patrick Mahomes, and then you got Travis KELCE, and then you got Chris Jones. So if both of your tier 1 players, A, B, and AC, can't play, and Juju Smith is gone, I know that's not a huge name, and I think Mahomes definitely can overcome, and that's not what my point is. I mean, we saw him overcome with Tyreek Hill, but we saw him overcome Tyreek Hill with Travis KELCE. Okay, now overcoming Tyreek Hill is not the same thing as overcoming Juju, but Eric Bieniemy's gone. Their leading receiving touchdown and yards wide receiver is gone. And with that, I mean, I gotta think that there's going to be some growing pains early in the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And I'm wondering if that home opening game, if they're going to be exposed a little bit. Without their 2 stars, there may be some early panic, Monday morning overreactions. Are the Chiefs in trouble because they start 0-1? Bill is in the chat. Got an early meeting tomorrow. I got to hit the set, but wanted to at least show up for the beginning. Have a good night and good luck with packing everything up. Always a pleasure having you, Bill. Appreciate you coming in here. And the game is going to be Kansas City favored to win. Like I think it was at 7, and then it went down to 6, and now we're seeing it as low as 5. Chiefs to win by 5. I'm starting to wonder why Kansas City is favored to win this game, and if the only reason is because of Patrick Mahomes, I think this Lions team. This game reminds me of a game we just saw. And the game was Colorado TCU. The Lions were still the underdogs, even though the expectations are crazy, right? Because usually those things are conflicting. If you have really high expectations, you're not an underdog. But in the case of Colorado, the expectations were really high. You bring in Deion Sanders, but at the end of the day, we didn't know Deion Sanders' son was elite or not at quarterback. So there's still like an underdog mentality. So when Colorado went into unranked Colorado, went into number 17, I believe, TCU, they were not supposed to win that game. They were the underdogs, and they went in there and they didn't play like the underdogs. They played like they were the team that should have been favored. And I picked Colorado to win that game. And I told my uncle, and he had like a 7-leg parlay, and I tried to get him to change his mind. And he was like, absolutely not. TCU's been building this thing for a while. And I'm like, cool. Have you heard of the transfer portal? Because Deion Sanders just built this thing in 4 months. And I think in a way, the Lions are going to do the same thing. And that's kind of what I mean by I've seen this game. High scoring game, sure. 42-45. Is that what the Colorado TCU game was at the end? I think it was. You know what? I would take that score. I don't think that Kansas City's going to put 42 points up, but if anybody could, it would be Patrick Mahomes, right? especially in a shootout. But I do have the Lions winning this game, and in a way where the Lions look like they could compete with anybody in the NFL, right? That's the main thing. Because there can be a lot of reasons a team wins a game. Kansas City could turn the ball over. They could fumble it. There could be a pick six, a punt return. All of those things add up, and it makes you look at a win sometimes and go, yeah, but Kansas City really just beat themselves. Okay? The Lions could win by 14 points, and if the Chiefs played in a way where you thought, yeah, the Chiefs really beat themselves, it would mean less than if the Chiefs have their best game and the Lions have their best game and the Lions win 45-42. So I'm not predicting that the Chiefs are going to make mistakes and the Lions are going to capitalize. I'm predicting that the Chiefs are going to be the Chiefs. They're going to come out. Andy Reid in September is spectacular. He's the greatest coach in September. He's got new designs, new plays. He's been cooking stuff up in his lab all year, all off season, and they're going to come out ready to play. Travis KELCE, Chris Jones, doesn't matter. He's going to come out ready to win this game. And the Lions are too. And that's the way I have the Lions winning this game. To be very specific about not just the score, the win, the type of win, I'll spend extra time on the Lions game because it is the first game of the season. The Lions are going to play a game that you are going to watch it, and by the end of the game, you're going to think to yourself, this Lions team they might not be favored, right? But they can go against anybody. San Francisco, Philadelphia, Dallas, Cincinnati, Buffalo. This is going to be one of those games for the Lions. And that's my prediction, okay? Kansas City is favored to win the game. Most people actually do have Kansas City winning the game that I have talked to on a personal level. I like to mix that in because sometimes, the books, Vegas, it seems like sometimes they're leaning a certain way, and it's just I'll never replace the word on the street. Like, I love going around and being like, what do you think, Lions, Chiefs? The barista, the guy bagging your groceries. I like to feel the temperature, and it's pretty much all Chiefs. I do have one person that's really in on the Lions, but it's kind of void a little bit because he's a Lions fan. Not that I hold that against somebody. Sometimes it is actually the fan that knows, but it's kind of like the little boy that cried wolf. It's like you say it every year and you mean you're going to be good, but then the one time you're actually right about it and you know that you're right about it, you can't convince anybody about it because you've been wrong about it. Oh, the journey of being a diehard fan is just it's a lot of fighting. I don't know about your family. Man, you really just have to you really have to just have one family that loves one team. My whole branch out with the Denver Broncos out of the Green Bay Packers has been interesting to say the least. Mostly just bullied. I mean, if the Broncos lose, I get text messages from people, but when they win, I do as well. I mean, it's pretty cool. So anyway, we're going to be going on this thing. We're leaving on Friday. I'm excited for the Broncos game. I'm going to move on to the Broncos and Raiders. And I'm only doing that game because that's the game that I'm going to be at in a couple days. Okay. So that game's going to be on 1:25 p.m. So if you're in Florida, 4:25. If you're in Colorado, 2:25. For me, it'll be 2:25. But for here, it'll be 1:25. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I got the Broncos winning this game. Okay. Now, November 20th, 2022, the Raiders won 22-16. And later, just 2 weeks later, the Raiders won 32-23. Okay. That was their last two matchups. Their last three matchups, going back to 2021, the Raiders beat the Broncos 17-13. And then earlier in the 2021 season, the Raiders beat the Broncos 32-31. And that was the last game of the 2000. That's weird. It says the game was on January 3rd. Isn't that normally during? So yeah, that was week 17. That's what I thought. It's just not in chronological order because right next to it there's another game. But anyway, my point is this: the Broncos have lost the last 5 matchups. I believe it might be 6. Raiders, Broncos, 37-12, 32-31, 34-24. And let me tell you this. Bronco fans have gotten so used to just losing. I didn't even know that. Like, I knew that, right? But it's not like the Chiefs, right? Like, they're 12 wins in a row. That's just like, that is such a giant weight looming over our head that the Raiders 6-game thing almost doesn't even get noticed, right? And that is why I think this is the perfect game for Sean Payton to have his first game as the Denver Broncos head coach. The Broncos and the Raiders have been rivals, serious, respected rivals for a long time. And the rivalry just hasn't been what it was when they were in Oakland, right? They moved to Las Vegas. And let me tell you something. The Broncos haven't beat the Raiders since they've been in Las Vegas. This is the perfect game for Sean Payton to come back and say, not only are we going to win our first game, right? Because just getting in the tradition of winning and getting the feeling of winning in itself is something, right? A culture of winning has to be learned. But to take back AFC West territory, right? To be doing that at the same time, that is a very, very sweet win. That is something that we've been longing for as a fan, just as an entire fan base, man. We've been really, really, really waiting for something like that feeling to come back again. Some lightning to go through our bones, something to make us feel alive. And if Sean Payton can give us that feeling on his first, on his coaching debut, we're going to be all in. I mean, I already am, but I mean, like, it's going to grow. It's going to become, like, Bronco fans are in, right? The rest of the world is not. Because there was so much, people just don't like Russell Wilson and he's cringe, and we thought Super Bowl last year, and yeah, that was literally the opposite. So why would I believe they're going to be any different today? Everyone's so sick and tired of the Denver Broncos because they've turned into some kind of trending joke, a literal joke. Like, it's hard, man. I grew up with more Super Bowl appearances than losing seasons, and I've seen my team become like a joke. So when I tell you that when Denver starts winning and all of these talking heads in the media, right, all the people from First Things First and Nick Wright, right, all the stuff he says about Denver is going to be last in their division and they're going to be terrible because Russell Wilson's washed, and he's literally just like, I have Mahomes, so everyone sucks, and we're awesome. It's like, dude, the Chiefs might not win the AFC West this year. I'm going to be the first to say it. Because they have Patrick Mahomes, they're automatically going to win the West. I'm sorry. I don't see it that way. And I think the fact that Mahomes has won 11 games, at least 11 games in every one of his years, is not some kind of signal that he's incapable of winning less than 11 games. It's like Travis KELCE staying healthy for a decade, not missing one football game in a decade. It's not a signal that he will never get hurt, right? It's almost more likely that Patrick Mahomes will have a season with only 10 wins or finishing tied in first for the AFC West, right? It's hard to stay on top for that long. He's coming off another Super Bowl win. The team is it's not the same team. They're not that great, man. The Jaguars pretty much beat themselves, and then the Bengals had the late penalty that gave them the field goal and the pass interference in the Super Bowl. Like, it almost feels like Kansas City was just kind of clawing to get by last year. And now you expect that they're just going to come in here without their two best players? No, no Chris Jones and no Travis KELCE, and they're going to be all right? There's no reason to think that, in my opinion. Steve in the chat, Konnichiwa, happy to have you in here. Obviously, we're in the empty kitchen, last day in the house. I had to pack up my podcast stuff today. It was pretty sad, but talking about the Chiefs, we talked about the Detroit Lions having a chance to go into Kansas City and beat them with the news of Chris Jones and Travis KELCE. And then we moved over to my Broncos because that's the game I'm going to be driving to. And so the Chiefs have really, I think people have got, I think people get kind of lazy sometimes, right? It's like, it's a no-brainer. Like when Indy, it was with Peyton Manning, right? You just knew every single year the Colts were going to win that division. But the thing is that division sucked, man. The Titans weren't good, the Jags weren't good, and the Texans weren't good. So, of course, Peyton Manning was going to win that division, just like Trevor Lawrence is going to dominate the division this year. But when you look at, some of these other quarterbacks, it's not a good parallel example because the Chargers are a really good team with a top 5 quarterback, right? This is like if Peyton Manning and Tom Brady were in the same division, right? Everybody was spread out. Buffalo, Miami, the Jets, they all sucked. Tom Brady got to dominate his division. I mean, dominate. Have you ever looked at the win-loss in his own division? He's like 31-1, 33-2. It's insane. Tom Brady got to dominate his division. Peyton Manning got to dominate his division. So we assume, okay, Mahomes is going to dominate his division, but the division is different. There's a lot more talent in this division. Sean Payton's not a loser. So that doesn't mean the Broncos win the division, but that does mean they're a difficult opponent now. You are not going to have an easy win against this Broncos team. The Chargers have Justin Herbert, top 5 quarterback in the league, and also they got Kellen Moore now. So are the Chargers not capable of making a move here? I mean, we're seeing the same thing right now with Buffalo and the New York Jets. Who's going to win that? The Dolphins are there too. So some of these divisions, Mahomes is the greatest quarterback in the world, probably ever. And I would be willing to say that this early. But it's still a team sport, man. At the end of the day, it is a team sport. And Mahomes can compensate for a lot, but he's also human. And I think it's about time that we see that side of him. And I think it could be this year. Steve said, if KELCE is out, that's a rough one for Moho. That's been his security blanket since he's entered the league. Yeah. And that's another, that's another thing, man. I mean, if he's really out, is Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, are these guys ready to step up and be The number one, he has no security blanket. He has nobody. Travis Kelce was his first read. It's 3rd and 7. I'm going to Travis Kelce all day. They had that feel, right? It's like you're dancing with your quarterback as a tight end. You know what where he wants you. You find this space. You can do all of that without even speaking to each other, just based on repetition. And it takes so long to get to where their relationship is. And that's why they're so unique. And that's why they go down in history as legendary. Joe Montana to Jerry Rice, Troy Aikman to Michael Irvin, Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce. It's irreplaceable. It's irreplaceable. And we're going to see what it looks like. But this Lions team, it's just not a good team to have this little tryout experience, right? Because the Lions are going to come in and they're going to be physical and they're going to be flying around and they're going to be making plays. I want you to especially pay attention to how the Lions play defense. Their identity and grit and toughness and being built and character, how that transpires on the field, because Dan Campbell is on his 3rd year and his culture has finally arrived. The Dan Campbell experience, there's no portal, right? There's no college football player portal. He can't be like Deion Sanders and build an entire team in 4 months. It took him years to get the team to where it's at right now. And basically they're hungry and they're starving. And on Thursday night, Dan Campbell's, he's going to let the dogs off the leash. And I am so happy that this is the first game of the season, because we're going to definitely get amazing, the quality of the football game will be amazing. This is not your Commanders Browns, right? This is going to be an amazing football game, but you also still have an underdog somehow. It's not very easy to have 2 very good teams play and one of them is a clear underdog. And when you can do both of those things, those are my favorite football games. They really are. That's why, even though the Chiefs keep beating us, my favorite games of the year, Broncos Chiefs, because I know that there's a possibility that as an underdog, we could go in there and beat them. Brady and Gronk, Elway and Sharp, Montana, Brent, Aikman, Novacek. I wasn't born yet. Maybe I was. I'm 1994. It's probably like the late 80s. This is the 80s, right? I think so. And the way I wanted to finish this podcast, because I'm in my kitchen and I came to you guys so late today, was I wanted to go through real quick and give you my picks. And then what I'm going to do is, actually, I think what we'll do is I'm going to get Brick's picks. I'm going to make my picks tonight. And then I'm going to get Rick's picks and I'm going to see how many we agree on. He's not going to know I've already done mine. So I'm going through it right now. All right. So the first game, September 10th. Well, Lions Chiefs. I'm taking the Lions at home. Titans Saints. This is a game that, honestly, when it comes to sports betting, this is a game I would completely stay away from, because both of these teams were not impressive last year. Both of them are expected to be healthy and better. So who do you go with? Mike Vrabel's not going to have, a weak game on his record. No season opener, right? But the Saints are at home, and it's the Superdome. Give me the Saints. Close game. Very close. Maybe overtime right here. Buccaneers at Vikings. Give me the Vikings. Sorry, but you're not going to just go into Minnesota with Baker Mayfield and win this game. 49ers at Steelers. 49ers favored to win. And this is, I don't know if you remember, Steve, but we used to do this. It's time for, no, that was argument of the week. This was upset of the week. Upset, upset alert. I got the Steelers winning at home against the 49ers by a last-second field goal. I think the Steelers have done really great things. Jaleel Warren, their second running back, is looking really good. Kenny Pickett, I think he's going to take a good step. Najee Harris is going to be healthy. And, man, I just really like this Steelers team. They did a lot of good. I've gone really deep into the Steelers in previous episodes. The Steelers are going to be a good team. They should be better than they were last year. And remember, last year they had a winning record. So I know their division is really, really tough, but it's not all that surprising if the Steelers are a tough team themselves. And that's what I'm trying to say. We're going to call this an upset because we haven't seen what I'm saying manifest. But I think by week 7 or week 8, this pick won't be as bold as it seems today. Then we got the Cardinals and Commanders. I'm going to go with Washington at home. That's an easy one for me. I like the Commanders, actually. I think they're sneaky. They're a wild card team. It's a dark horse, but they're capable. The Bengals at Browns. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I think it's tough. The Bengals have started slow in the past 2 years. I don't know how healthy Joe Burrow is. You know what? We'll probably call this my man, that's a tough one. I mean, this one could really go either way. I'm going to take the home team, but the Bengals get back on track and they finish the season probably number 3 in the power rankings, or number 2. I think they're going to have a top 5 offense and defense. So don't take this the wrong way, Who Dat Nation. The Browns get the early win, but the Bengals are just sleeping a little bit still. Panthers at Falcons. Falcons, easy. I think Atlanta's going to be good. I think they're going to win their division over the Saints. Texans at Ravens. Give me the Ravens. Tough break, right? For CJ Stroud, first game going against the Ravens. I think he's going to throw some interceptions. I think the Ravens are going to score some points. I think that the season opening game for Damari, or what's his name? The Texans head coach, whatever. I think it's going to be a rough first game. Been up so long that it's gotten to the point where I can't remember people. D'Amico Ryans. I was like DeMar. And then Bill saying, I think this might be the best season opening game. Both can win for sure. Yeah, this is a really, really good one. This is even better than last year's, to be honest. Okay. So, yeah, D'Amico Ryans, tough first game going against the Ravens. Then we got Jaguars playing the Indianapolis Colts. Jacksonville's favored to win. Anthony Richardson making a home opener. This could be a really, really sneaky win. I wouldn't bet on this game. Jacksonville, I expect to win this game. I think they're going to have a really good season. So I'm going to pick Jacksonville to win it. But Anthony Richardson looked really good in preseason. And if he can pull this one off, he's going to have this fan base by the balls. So this is going to be an important win for the Colts. But I still think the Jaguars are my number one seed in the AFC this year. And the reason is because they do not play many tough opponents and they're in the weakest division in the NFL. Well, that only works if you beat the teams in your division. So I'm going to take the Jaguars because I predicted them to be a number one seed, and they're not going to get there by losing games like that. The Packers are playing the Bears in what is one of the oldest rivalries in history. The Packers, though, have a new quarterback, not named Brett Favre, not named Aaron Rodgers. In comes Jordan Love to make his Packer debut. Aaron Rodgers left to the New York Jets. He told Jordan Love some words of encouragement: just be yourself. So Jordan Love, he's going to be himself. What does that look like? We have no idea yet. But the Bears, we know what they have at quarterback, kind of. We know that they have somebody that if he takes a step up in his development as a passer, could be the MVP of the NFL this year. Justin Fields, with the trades that they did, given their first-round pick to Carolina for DJ Moore, what is the first play in preseason between DJ Moore and Justin Fields? A screen pass touchdown. You love to see it, right? Because it looks like the Bears right now, for the first time in a long, long time, there's not somebody named Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre starting for the Packers, and they are not the little brother anymore. This is the game where Justin Fields can look at Jordan Love and tell him, I'm your daddy now. Now I'm your daddy. Your daddy's gone. He's in New York. He still owns us, but I'm your daddy now. And that is going to be a really good game. I really don't want to pick on this game. I'm inclined to go with Chicago. My heart is with the Packers. I do think Jordan Love is going to be good. I wanted to be very clear about that. I think Jordan Love is going to be better than people are expecting, okay? I won't be shocked. I saw everything I needed to see from him in that Philadelphia game. Steve in the chat saying, I think that the backup rookie for Bears is more promising than Fields. Bold statement, but I think Justin Fields is a very, very talented quarterback. I don't see anybody taking his job. Now, he would have to be pretty awful in order to get his spot taken. And part of what he's expected to do is take this division. The NFC North should always run through the most elite quarterback in the division. Do you want to be like Kirk Cousins? Really good, but not really appreciated, never really wins a Super Bowl, but puts up elite numbers, but like kind of just Jay Cutler's, but a little better, maybe Dak Prescott's or Tony Romo's. Tony Romo's, that's very fitting. Tony Romo, Kirk Cousins. Or are you going to be the elite, right? The Peyton Manning of your division, the Tom Brady of your division, the Aaron Rodgers of your division. Can Justin Fields take that role and actually make it work? This is his 1 year, in my opinion, to do it. If it doesn't happen this year, it's never going to happen. He's already showed us glimpses of it, but there were plenty of holes. And the Bears were the worst offensive line last year with the Broncos. Justin Fields was sacked 51 times. Russell Wilson was sacked 50 times. So when you talk about him not having a good pocket awareness or pocket presence or feeling imaginary pressure, of course he does. He has PTSD. He's hit every time he snaps the ball and doesn't find, his first read. He doesn't even have time to go to a second read. I've seen him not have time for his first read to finish his route. So we need to at least put Justin Fields in a more optimal situation. And that's what the Bears have done this offseason, drafting offensive line pieces. They are putting the team around Justin Fields to give him a chance to be successful. And he has to capitalize on that at home in this divisional game. Now, this is the most fitting game for the first game of Jordan Love's career. I mean, as the real franchise starting quarterback. This is the only game that a new franchise quarterback with the expectations like Jordan Love or Aaron Rodgers, that game should always be Packers-Bears. Okay. So I'll give you my team later. I'm not ready to pick between the Packers and the Bears. I'm just not, man. I think that's going to be a pretty close game. Inclined to go with the home team, of course, but then we got the Eagles and the Patriots. Tom Brady being enshrined at home into the Tom Brady Hall of Fame, or whatever they call it over there. Look, the Eagles are really good. And do I think that the Patriots are going to roll over by any means? No. Matter of fact, I have this game being very close. A lot of people have not said much about the Patriots, right? Because, well, there's Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets, right? And that's so much cooler. But let's just take a moment and understand that the Patriots didn't have an offensive coordinator last year, and now they have a very good one in Bill O'Brien. He is a very good offensive coordinator, and he's 100% an upgrade from, let's see. They didn't have one. Okay, so this is good, right? This is a lot better. Mac Jones was calling people from Alabama trying to get help in the locker room. Bill Belichick heard about it, got mad. Well, guess what? Bill O'Brien was coaching at Alabama not too long ago. You got yourself an Alabama play caller. You got some pieces. You got the leading receiving yard leader from the Chiefs and touchdown leader from the Chiefs in Juju Smith. You're going to have a solid defense. Their linebacker, I wrote his name down. He's going to be a captain this year. I think he's going to have a breakout season. Their defense is going to be top 12, maybe top 10, right? Bill Belichick wakes up and he's already a top 12 defense, right? Before he even drinks his black coffee. So I don't think that the Eagles come in here and just destroy the Patriots. It's an emotional game. It's a new year. I think the offense moves. Patriots have a chance to win. I'm going to take the Eagles by like 2, right? Like, I know 2 isn't a very normal, but 1, 2, I'm thinking this could be like a 30. No, I don't think it would be that high, but with Jalen Hurts, the scores can always end up there. So I would say this game could be like a 31-34, something like that, with the Eagles edging the Patriots. Then we got the Rams at Seahawks. Look, the Rams, Cooper Kupp. Is it going to be more of what we saw last year, or was last year a blimp? Well, usually with really good coaches, these blimps don't last very long. Sean McVay is a very good coach. So is Bill Belichick, but he has, he's never missed the playoffs in 2 consecutive years in his entire time as a head coach. And not only that, Bill Belichick, in all the years he did miss the playoffs, never had fewer than 10 wins the next year. Okay. So is that the kind of territory that I expect out of Sean McVay this year? Figure it out, fix it, and be good again? Or do the Rams win 5-6 games again? I don't know. I mean, one of these teams has to win like 3 games, and it's hard to know who it's going to be, but I'm sorry, it just feels like the NFL is getting better, because it is very, very hard to figure out. I know I'm not big on the Texans, but even with the Colts and Anthony Richardson, it's like if he pops off, it's like it's hard to figure out which one of these teams is lying to us. And the Rams aren't really lying at all. But if you can read between the lines, I expect the Rams to be a little better than they were last year. I mean, they have a Hall of Fame, on a trajectory to being a Hall of Fame coach in Sean McVay. And the Seahawks, though, they're just drafting so well. Kenneth Walker, Geno Smith surprised the whole world last year. And I don't see why, just because you're surprised about something, that is a reason to say, no, I think the Seahawks digress a little bit, because they consistently did what they did week in and week out last year. There was not like, they weren't, teams that were playing Seattle were beating themselves. Their record wasn't inflated like the Jets, who, when they were like 6-1 or 7-2, they had won like 6 of their 7 games by teams with backup quarterbacks and BS like that. No, like the Seahawks did the dirty work. They won their games. They did what they had to do. Nobody gave them anything. The only thing the NFL gave them was a chance to be embarrassed at home. Because when the Broncos went in there to play with Russell Wilson last year, that game was not supposed to be close. And it wasn't the Seahawks that were supposed to win. The Seahawks flipped the narrative. They took home the Comeback Player of the Year awards, and they laughed their way to the draft bank with all their first-round picks. And what did they do with them? They drafted Devin Witherspoon. They drafted JSM. They went in, right? They are hitting on their draft year in and year out now for about 3 years. And that is how they've avoided an entire rebuild. And the way I look at it, the Seahawks are a playoff team. They're a wild card playoff team with 10 wins. I'm taking Seattle at home. 12th man always wins season opener. I learned that last year the hard way. Then we got the Dolphins and the Chargers. The Chargers are favored to win at home. Look, the Chargers are one of those places where the home field advantage is not something that is, oh my God, nobody could, it's not Seattle. Okay. And then the Dolphins not being favored to win this, like I told you earlier, Cincinnati could have a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. The only other team in the AFC that I'm thinking can do that is the Miami Dolphins. I'm pretty high on the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins to beat the Chargers on the road. And this is only I guess I've picked like four road teams to win. Okay. Broncos over Raiders. Next. Cowboys, Giants. Dallas favored to win. Giants at home. Tough game for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm taking the Giants to win it. I think the Giants win this game, but I also fear that this is going to be the highest point of the Giants season. I think that the high that they're going to go on if they win this game at home is going to be big. Just like the Broncos have been dropping losses to the Raiders, or the Broncos have been taking L's against the Raiders, the Giants have been doing the same against the Cowboys. Let's get the Giants to turn this thing around. Then we got Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers' first game of his NFL career wearing a Jets helmet. And wait, before I go in this, I want to look at this. Steve said, I think you and Rick should call your shot at the season's worst team before the season starts. Loser owes the other a 12-pack. I love that. 1 second. I got to turn this fan off. There we go. All right, and we're back. Okay, so I think you guys should call your shot at the season's worst team. Okay, my season's worst team. It's got to probably be I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to see Baker Mayfield go, but it's either Tampa or the Texans. It's one of them. All right, and then we got here Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers' first game, playing at the same exact field Sunday Night Football is being played in. Ain't that crazy? Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football will be played in the same darn stadium, and that's MetLife. Jets at home playing the Bills. People got the Bills winning this game. I got the Jets winning this game. Aaron Rodgers takes home a dub. His first game against the Bills. and he really sets the tone here. I got the Bills losing this game. Look, just like the Chiefs, I understand that the Bills are going to have human moments too. Right now, they lost their coordinator, Stephon Diggs. The stuff with him, whatever is being made out of it, whether it's blown out of proportion or it's not. The head coach said he was very concerned at one point. That is not nothing. No one can convince me that the truth wasn't told on accident. This is going to be a hard year for Buffalo. Now, I'm not saying a hard year like they're going to have a losing record. I'm saying that this is going to be a challenging year for them because they're in an incredibly tough division. And I'm not saying that I think the Jets are a better team than the Bills. It's way too early to tell. I am saying that on Monday, September 11th, 2023, I predict the Jets to be the better team than the Bills. And that's the way my predictions go. So the only one I got to give you guys, I owe you Packers, Bears. And I will be getting that to you as soon as I can. Hey, Steve said, dude, don't ever leave me here alone. What if Bill had returned to scare? That is so funny. Oh man, that is so funny. Oh man, I was looking, I was like, I gotta make sure, because Bill put in a message earlier and he said, got an early meeting tomorrow, I gotta hit the sack, wanted to at least show up for the beginning. And I'm gonna have to send him a message now. Where are we at right now? 51. Be like, start at 50 minutes. That is funny. I'm exposing that joke, Steve. So yeah, here we go, man. We're hitting the road. We're getting out of here. If you want to be with us on the road, you can follow us. And by the way, we're going to get a lot of subscribers in the next couple of weeks here. So, strap in, because there's going to be a lot of interviews. There's going to be a lot of meeting, a lot of people subscribing. I'm going to be giving jerseys away to people for not only subscribing, but actually sharing on their social medias and going to all these stadiums. The opportunity to expand this channel in a very big way. It's something that I at least wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's around the corner. And if you want to be a part of that journey, you can follow me on Twitter at FTBL. Do I have to start saying X instead of Twitter? I'm going to say Twitter from now on, just because I don't like change. It's FTBLONLYPODCAST. And you can subscribe to this channel. Anytime that we go live, you will be notified. Anytime we're in a new stadium, you're going to see it. You're just going to randomly see a notification on your phone. You're going to open it up, and we're going to be at Heinz Field getting ready for the Bengals, or we're going to be in Buffalo on Monday night. This is something I've always wanted to do my entire life as a fan of football, right? This is a real dream to do something like this. So, sorry. The worst thing that could happen is that we have a freaking blast, right? So if you guys want to be a part of that journey, definitely stay tuned. Make sure you hit the notifications so that you don't miss those episodes. Steve said I deleted it when I seen X. I don't know. I didn't know, LOL. I thought some random app uploaded on my phone when I seen the X icon. Yeah, it was weird. It was like, what is this doing here? It looked foreign. I don't even know how they have the ability to change what you already have downloaded on your phone. But maybe we shouldn't talk about that here because they're probably listening. So we're going to be going live again. Get ready for Thursday Night Football, where we're going to be streaming that live in person. It is going to be an amazing game. The Lions, the underdogs, can they pull it off? Can they beat the Chiefs? Will the Chiefs not have Travis KELCE? We will find all of that out in person. We are less than 2 days away from NFL football. Before I let you guys go with the See ya. Let me look one thing up really quick. Hours before NFL kickoff. All right. Seeing if there's a, here it is, countdown to kickoff. All right, countdown to kickoff. They don't actually have a ticker. Okay, so it'll be about 37 hours-ish. Okay, not as cool when I don't have an actual second. But yeah, tune in for that. We're going to be at another probably location. It's probably going to be somewhere really dope, really awesome. So definitely check that out. I'm seeing more people coming in here. I hate to be at the end of the stream when people start popping in here, but as soon as I get done with this episode, it's going to be uploaded onto our YouTube page. So give it a listen, run it back, listen to the podcast where I gave my division predictions and talked about Kelsey's injury and how the AFC West could be going in a new direction for the first time in a long time. And if that sounds interesting to you, check it out. Hit the comments. Go ahead, type something in there, whatever your feedback is. And if you want a special episode about anything or a topic or an idea, throw it in the comments. We actually respond to all of those, and it helps the algorithm. So it helps us out too. All right, guys, have a good night, and I'll see you guys in a couple of days for week 1 of the NFL season, where the Lions will beat the Chiefs. See you.